What up, Canes fans? Before we get started, just wanted to talk to you guys about the Tank Brewery real quick. The Tank is located in the heart of Miami in Dade County at 5100 Northwest 72nd Avenue. This place is awesome. I've been there. The beer is outstanding. The food is great. Whether you're watching the Canes game, the Heat game there with your buddies, you're having a guys' night out, or you're having a date night with the missus, it's a great place to hang out. So you can order online at thetankbrewingtakeout.com or call them at 786-801-1554 for delivery or pickup. And here's the thing. If you use the promo code TANK4SUP, you will get free delivery on game days. And so that is TANK4SUP, the number 4, not spell it out, but Tank 4S up. So go check out our friends at the Tank Brewing. They've been great to us. So take it away, Jordan.
All right. Also, we want you guys to check out our guy, Stickers by AB. That's at STICKERZ by AB. I've been ordering a bunch of stuff from him. We have a collaboration sticker that has our logo on it. So make sure you're checking him out. Give him a follow on Twitter. He's just a good dude, and he's helping us design our merch. So yeah, man, it's make sure you're supporting the good people that help us out here on Fours Up.
You're listening to the Fours Up podcast with your host, Marsh.
All right, what up, Canes fans? It is the Fours Up podcast presented by the Tank Brewery. It is Friday, October 23rd. It is UVA Eve. As always, I'm joined by my wonderful producer and co-host, Jordan Nelson. Jordan, what's up, brother?
Nothing much, man. Just I started Blue Mountain State over again. You inspired me, and my girlfriend loves it. So it's like can't ask for more than that, right?
That's all you need in life. And we're also joined by our guest for the evening. It is Mr. Eric Robinson. He covers the Falcons for the Falcaholic. I mean, he writes for a few different sites. Eric, what's going on, man?
Nothing much. I'm kind of ready to get things going tomorrow night, man, with our Canes.
Absolutely. And we'll get into that a little bit. But Jordan, what do we have to go through before we get to the football?
Yeah, so I just wanted to remind everyone that y'all should go to Stickers by AB. He's a friend of the podcast. He's designing some of our merch. He's been on the show and he's become a personal friend. So he has a discount code. It's 4s up. It's the number 4 and then SUP. And that will get you 15% off in all of his stickers that are Miami Hurricanes related. And we actually have a crossover sticker with him. So I know I've been buying a whole bunch. I'm sitting at my desk right now and have a big stack of probably almost 30 stickers. So make sure you guys are checking out Stickers by AB.
Absolutely. Okay, so the Canes were 4-1, got Virginia tomorrow night with Bronco Mendenhall, Jordan's boy. Eric, guys, so here's a little backstory for you, Eric, and the listeners who don't know. So Jordan and I both live in Utah. We're both Canes fans. I grew up in South Florida, but we moved to Utah. And Jordan, can I say your second team is BYU?
I mean, I don't know if I would say that, but like all of my very close friends are BYU fans, so kind of.
Okay.
So there's a man crush there with Mendenhall. Is basically what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I've heard some good stories. I've had close friends that interacted with him, and I mean, one of my very closest friends, like he had a life-changing experience with Bronco. That he just seems like a good dude. So yes, I do not slander Bronco Mendenhall, as goofy as he might be.
But meanwhile, me on the other hand, my second team, I cheer for the University of Utah Utes, and they're huge rivals with BYU, so I hate Bronco Mendenhall.
Yeah, I see how you guys got this going right now. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So big game tomorrow. And then we have a bye week next week, unfortunately. Eric, I wanted to ask you first, are you from Florida? Because I know you're a Canes fan. Did you grow up in Florida, or how did that work?
I'm born and raised in Columbia, South Carolina. I lived in Florida for a handful of years in the military, in the Air Force, United States Air Force. But I've been a Canes fan since a kid. So, everybody that was growing up around me, that grew up around me were either Gamecocks or Tigers fans. And I was the only oddball that was a Miami Hurricane fan. So
love it, man.
That's just, it stuck with me.
Yeah, and thank you for your service in the military. But yeah, and I can relate to that though, man, because I grew up, it's only been the last few years that I started to cheer for BYU because, growing up, born and raised here in Salt Lake, and I've been a diehard Canes since I was young. Dude, I know how it feels to be an outsider, right? When it comes to the football team, so I can relate to that.
Definitely.
Okay, so the Canes are 4-1 and we're ranked 11th right now. Eric, what are your feelings towards the season at this point?
I keep, as the season goes on, I keep resonating back to the 2017 season when they were ranked high and they were winning games, but you still kind of felt a little uneven about the team as they were winning games. But I don't have that feeling now. I do feel like this is the turning of the tide a little bit.
Okay. So you're buying into the hype then? I
am. I'm buying into the hype slowly. This is definitely, like I said, a turning of the chapter for the Canes. Getting a guy like Rhett Lashley in, you can see what he's doing to this team. You can see what he's doing to the offense. You can see the confidence in the team. And I just don't have those 2017 vibes. Like I never really bought fully in, even when they were third or number 2 overall. I never really bought into it. Like they don't feel like that.
I mean that team, it was exciting, but you never really everybody knew that number 2 ranking was not legit.
Right.
But it was a fun year, but I do get that feeling, and I'm buying into the hype as well. But I want to warn Canes fans, and I don't know if you agree with this. You were hinting towards it, turning the chapter and everything like that. This year is the start, but it doesn't mean it's going to end up beating Clemson in Charlotte or anything like that.
No, but this is so vital. This year is so vital for this program because it can either lead to a catastrophic recruiting outcome, or it can be the benchmark for what is, years of winning. So this year is critical. I mean, I never, even going back to that Clemson game, a few weeks back, I never really, if they won, great, I'm cool with it. But if they were just make it competitive, it would have went a long way towards just the outlook of the program.
I agree 100% with what you're saying, and I want to point out some positive trends that we should all be feeling great about. Right. The first one is the culture of the team is changing. You're seeing that mostly through the guys like Bubba Bolden and Jalen Phillips and De'Aaron King, right? And that's a little more complex because none of those guys were recruited here. Right. However, Manny has talked a lot about that. He's talked about the character he wants in the locker room. He said that, last season he said this upcoming recruiting class, which is our current true freshman, he said all these guys have that attitude, right? So at least Manny is identifying it, and he's trying to bring it into the program. Mm-hmm. I think with the true freshmen, it remains to be seen, how they do. But I think for the most part, it looks great, right? I mean, Corey Flagg, we have a lot of impact freshmen right now. At wide receiver, at linebacker, Tyler Van Dyke is doing great things. On Green Tree supposedly, and then the 2 running backs, Chaney and Knighton. So, I think you're right in saying that this is the turning of the tide, and I think that is the one thing that I look to that is really good evidence. Is that we are changing the culture of the locker room. I hope that it's happening with guys that we recruit and not just transfer portal guys.
So let me ask you guys this. With the changing of that attitude of the program, that swagger, is it more credited to the coaching hires, or is it more credited to getting Ed Reed in that locker room and on that sideline and around that team?
You know, Marsh, do you care if I go first?
No, go ahead.
I'm actually going to give all the credit to Manny. I'm giving 100% of the credit to Manny.
Okay.
And here's why. Not that I don't think Ed Reed's going to help, because he will. However, Bubba and Jalen were brought in before Ed Reed.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, like, obviously Manny made some mistakes last year. Tate Martell didn't work out. Dan Enos didn't work out. But it looks as if he's learned from those mistakes, though.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure Rhett Lashley was hired before Ed Reed as well. Yeah, and so that was a great move as well. So I think Ed Reed, his hiring is an extension of what Manny is doing correctly.
Okay.
So Ed Reed's going to help snowball whatever Manny has going. But I think it started well before Ed Reed got to campus. Mm-hmm. So I'm giving the credit to Manny here, as much as I love the Ed Reed thing.
Okay.
I'm pretty similar to Jordan. The hiring of Ed Reed just puts a championship and veteran twist into everything. It's just like a bonus. The job that Manny Diaz has done, post last year's bowl game has been absolutely tremendous. I think he did a great job with not only Rhett Lashley, but the offensive line coach, Garen Justice, and then Rob Likens. And then obviously bringing in a guy like Ed Reed. And I wasn't the biggest fan of that move when it was made. I thought it was a publicity stunt. And, because he's Ed Reed, I didn't think he was going to be there.
Right.
But he's on the sideline every single game. He's at practice. So I think Manny deserves almost all the credit. I mean, this is his team. But Ed Reed just takes everything and then gives it just that Hall of Fame kind of fist bump.
So can I share a story about this real quick?
Yeah.
So I also do, with Derek Coe. You guys all know Derek Coe. So with him, we do a radio show on Slam Radio, and from the UAB game, he shared an anecdote with me about the type of impact that Ed Reed has when he's on the sidelines. So he said that there was a player, that just, I don't want to say names or anything, but there was a player on the sidelines that had wanted playing time, thought he was going to be in the starting lineup. He didn't. And he looked downtrodden during the game. That's what Derek was telling me, because he was sitting like front row or something. So he's like, this guy is trying to get in the game all game, he doesn't get that many reps. And like 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter, like you can see that mentally he's packing it in. He's taking the tape off of his hands and his gloves and stuff. And, like he's getting ready to go to the locker room. And he said that you could see Ed Reed like looking at him, watching this kid start to get ready to go into the locker room when there's still 9 minutes left in the game. And he walks over and taps, I can't remember which coach, whether it was Lashley or the position coach or Manny or whoever, and whispers something in his ear, and then that dude's in the game for the rest of the game, like trying to teach him a lesson, like don't pack it in before the gun goes off, like you got to stay ready. So like it's stuff like that I didn't expect that from Ed Reed either. And this is to Marsh's point, but I think it's the small things like that Ed Reed is able to teach lessons. We saw him go over to D. Wiggins and tell him to keep his head up after some, I think it was during the Clemson game when he didn't fight for that ball in the end zone and got picked off.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, it's the stuff like that is going to make huge changes in the program.
The influence that he had in the Louisville game as well. Yeah. He got was it a late hit call?
Uh-huh. Yes.
In the second half, just for him kind of whispering in the referee's ear. And again, that's just if that was some unknown Miami assistant, that ref would have said, all right, leave me alone. I'm trying to concentrate on the game. But the fact that it was Ed Reed in his ear, the very next play was a call on the Louisville defender. Like, that's just the influence of having a guy like that on the sideline. I think that's huge. It's almost like having an extra coach.
Exactly. Yeah. And I love that Manny Diaz because obviously he was trying to fix all the holes that were there last year. Obviously the offense gave us all, made us all insane. But one of the roles